The world tells a lie about love, a beautiful lie, that it arrives easily on a clear day. My love arrived covered in grime, in the shadow of a traffic light that hung with exhaustion. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was just trying to pay a debt. I fell in love with a homeless man. And in that raw, terrifying vulnerability, we found a power stronger than any betrayal. A power stronger than shame. A love that became a final, unbreakable sanctuary.
The shame was a cloak woven from freezing rain. It clung to you, heavy and damp, even when the sun was out. I know that shame. I wore it for 12 agonizing months on these same streets. It strips you of your right to look up. It makes your existence an apology. And then came Victor. Not as salvation, but as a lesson in dignity. Victor, with his hands stained with newspaper ink and his voice smelling faintly of chewing gum. He saw me. Not the dirt, not the failure. He saw the exhaustion of trying to disappear. "Shame is lazy, Elias," he told me once, staring past me. "It's easy to feel, but dignity? Dignity is work. It's the sweat you earn," he said. He gave me $20 a day to sweep his sidewalk. $20. It wasn't charity. It was a transaction. He allowed me to buy back my right to exist. That debt to Victor, it is my map, my most treasured possession. Years later, successful, clean, sheltered, I saw the cold again, reflected in the tired, yet fiercely intelligent eyes of Malik. His story was too common. A sudden, catastrophic illness. His grandmother, the anchor, the only one who saw his art, gone. The bills piled. The eviction notice was ruthless. He told me once, leaning against the cold brick, about his graphic design dreams. He described colors, rich blues, sharp yellows, colors that didn't exist in the gray city air. "The finality of it," he whispered. "It wasn't the hunger that broke me. It was the moment I realized my existence didn't leave a mark on the world anymore. Just invisibility." When I knelt beside him, the scent of the city, diesel and damp earth, was heavy between us. I offered coffee, and I offered the secret of my past. "I'm not saving you, Malik. I'm passing the map Victor gave me." The trust built slowly. Coffee, resources, the knowledge that I saw him fully. Then came the belief that to truly heal, he couldn't just escape the future. He had to confront the past. "Your parents," I urged him one raw afternoon, "they may not accept you, but you need to know why you were abandoned. That's the last piece of baggage. Once we drop it, we run free." Malik was hesitant, trembling with the combination of hope and terror. But the desire for closure was a persistent, aching hunger. He gave me the names, the old suburb address. The mission was set. We believed, foolishly, that love could fix abandonment.
The search consumed us. Hours spent shoulder to shoulder in my small, safe living room, the air thick with Malik's unique scent, clean soap and cold air. The tension was a low, constant hum, a frequency only the two of us could hear. His hand resting on the mouse pad, my hand reaching for the notepad. The fraction of an inch between our skin was the battlefield. My internal monologue was a relentless drill sergeant. "Don't touch him, Elias. Don't need him. Need complicates rescue. He needs stability, not another chaotic relationship built on trauma." And Malik was the stronger resistor. Every time I took a breath, He seemed to exhale caution. "We can't blur this," he'd state, his voice low, his eyes fixed on the screen. "You saved me. I owe you my life. I can't risk turning this beautiful gift into something messy." But the resistance itself became intimacy, the intense, painful awareness of the other person, knowing his breathing pattern, knowing the exact curve of his wrist. The longing was a physical ache beneath my ribs. The breakthrough came late one night. After a frustrating phone call that ended in a parental hang-up, Malik's composure finally fractured. He let out a silent, ragged sob, burying his face in his hands. The sound of that raw despair. It was the sound of the last wall falling. I didn't think. I didn't strategize. My body acted. I stood up. I walked the 3 feet that separated us, and I pulled his hands away from his face. His eyes were wet, terrified, vulnerable. And then he reached. His hands cupped my face. His touch was the most certain thing I had ever felt. Then we kissed. The first kiss was a necessary collapse. It was not gentle. It was a hard, desperate press of lips that tasted of salt and fear and the sudden violent release of months of repressed longing. It was a gasp, a silent, full-throated admission that we were committed. My instant hands dove under his worn sweater. I needed the warmth of his skin, the reality of his ribs beneath my fingers, the certainty of life. We broke apart, both trembling, breathing the same air too quickly. "We're in this now," I managed to choke out, my voice rough. "No going back. It's us, whatever comes next," I said. 2 days later, the storm arrived. A local paper digitized an old contact sheet. There it was, Malik's parents, a clean address, a cold suburb. I looked at Malik, his face beaming with the cautious, profound hope of a child finally called home. My commitment to him, to us, was about to face its first terrible test.
I drove Malik there, to the immaculate, terrifying facade of his childhood home. The air in that suburb was heavy with judgment and stale air conditioning. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Davies, were polite, too polite. Their smiles were thin, brittle things that never touched their eyes. They thanked me for my community service, and then ushered Malik inside, closing the door on me with a decisive click that felt like a final, terrible period on my efforts. I went back home and left Malik there. I called Malik when I was home, but he didn't answer. I tried texting him on WhatsApp and Instagram, no reply. 48 hours later, the terror began. Malik's phone went straight to voicemail. I couldn't take this anymore, so I drove back. The curtains were drawn. The house was a tomb. Mrs. Davies answered the door, holding her chin high. I immediately asked her where Malik was. She answered saying, "Malik is fine, Elias. He's away, at a specialized faith-based retreat, recalibrating his choices and regaining his spiritual health." The word recalibrating hit me in the center of my chest. It stripped the oxygen from the air. I immediately clocked that they had taken him to conversion therapy. My guilt was immediate, crushing, a raw physical nausea. I was the map maker. I was supposed to show him the way to safety, and instead I had willingly, politely walked him back into the mouth of the wolf. I thought I was strong enough to navigate their hatred. I was wrong. My redemption became his re-traumatization. In that moment, I saw Victor's face, the man who taught me dignity. And I saw shame again, a new, corrosive shame that belonged entirely to me. It was an unforgivable failure. I had to find him. I spent 72 hours in a fever pitch of research and planning. Survival skills I hadn't used in years resurfaced. The ability to read shadows. The knowledge of how easy it is to become invisible when people aren't looking for you. I finally found the location. A facility disguised as a boarding school, miles out of the city, hidden by woods and gates. I didn't break in. I slipped in. The silence of the night was the only witness,
I found Malik in a small, cold room. His back was to me. He was sitting utterly still, muted. They hadn't just tried to change his mind. They had tried to erase his volume. I said his name once. Malik. He turned slowly. His eyes were haunted, distant. For a second, he was gone. Then recognition flooded back, followed instantly by tears of pure, shattering relief. I gave him a hug and a soft kiss. I was so happy to have found him. I didn't allow him to speak. I pulled him up, my arm wrapped tight around his waist. We ran, the way only two people who know the price of being caught can run. Fast, silent, desperate. The long drive back was defined by the silence. Malik leaned against the passenger door, trembling. He wouldn't look at me. It was the silence that was the worst, Elias, he finally whispered, his voice thin as glass. They told me you were the demon, that the love we felt was a sickness they had to burn out. My knuckles were white on the steering wheel. I wanted to drive to their house and burn it down, but all I could do was grip his hand. His skin was icy cold. Never again, Malik. I am your home, and I will never let them take you again, I said.
Weeks later, we moved together into our first apartment. The first apartment was poor, but it was a fortress. The sound of the deadbolt sliding home, that was the sound of victory. It was the most beautiful music I had ever heard. We spent weeks existing in a state of quiet grace. Malik was healing, slowly. We focused on tactile safety. The texture of the sheets, clean, soft cotton, was a defiant luxury against the cold, sterile fabric of his trauma. The scent of his favorite coffee brewing. The quiet hum of the refrigerator that signaled stability. Physical intimacy wasn't a return to passion. It was a return to trust. The first time we slept fully intertwined after the rescue, I did not sleep. I simply held him. My arm was heavy across his bare, masculine chest, my breath soft against the back of his neck. His breathing was shallow, hesitant. Then, slowly, as the hours passed, it deepened, evened out. I could feel the subtle warmth return to his skin. I was a human shield, a protective barrier against the night. The shirtless embrace was a daily ritual of reclamation. I held him, feeling the bones beneath the skin, feeling the strong, steady beat of his heart. My touch was saying everything his parents told him was a lie. You are worthy. You are loved. You are whole. Things are fine now. We began dating after about 3 months, not to find out if we loved each other, but to prove to the world that we had the right to joy. Our first date was awkward, sweet, and slow. We sat across the table, discussing paint colors for the living room, and to me, that was more than enough. The simple act of laughing felt like a revolutionary act of defiance. Now, my world is built on the sanctuary of our mornings. I wake to the weight of his limbs, his long leg thrown over mine, his dark skin warm against my white skin. The difference in our temperatures is a comforting, perfect disparity. He wakes slowly. There is the soft sound of his breath catching before he fully opens his eyes. I turn, pulling him close, our bodies fitting together like two pieces of a long-lost puzzle. Morning quickies before work and meaningless jokes he makes. And the final, daily affirmation, the gentle, effortless, morning shirtless kiss. It is not desperate like the first one. It is soft, confident. It tastes of home. It is the silent, profound exchange of safety. I am here. You are safe. I love you. The map I followed wasn't paved with kindness. It was paved with the cold, hard lessons of survival. It led me to Malik, and it gave me the skills to save him from a hatred I never knew existed. We are not defined by the street. We are not defined by the judgment of others. We are defined by the door we lock every night, the soft, clean texture of our sheets, the warmth that radiates between our two bodies. Malik and I now run a nonprofit organization rehabilitating queer people that have experienced conversion therapy. I love doing things, especially because I'm doing it with the man that I love. Love isn't finding comfort. Love is building sanctuary. And in the daily, unshakable safety of our shared home and the pure, soft commitment of his morning kiss, I know I am finally, truly, and eternally home. I love you, Malik, forever and ever. If you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on stories like this.